Good evening, visitors, and welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Dan Hiscock, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Navy is Captain Michael Manfield. We welcome the veterans who have served, those still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Service Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Poole reflection by visitors to the memorial and students on behalf of Montville State School and Conondale State School, both from the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the national anthem. If you wish to and you're able, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read just one of the stories from the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Poole reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Signalman Archer David Poole. Archer Poole was born on the 14th of October 1911 in Brisbane, the son of David and Anna Poole. He and his brother Stanley probably grew up and were educated in Brisbane. Archer's father died in 1938, by which time Archer was working as a labourer. Archer Poole joined the militia on the 9th of May 1941. He was earmarked for a role in a signals unit. These units were responsible for providing communications by dispatch rider on motorcycle or over the telephone and wireless or any other means possible. Poole entered camp at Lytton Signal Station, also known as Signal Hill, near the mouth of the Brisbane River. The station had been established in the 1880s to protect Fort Lytton. With an electric telegraph station already in place, it had been used as a training camp for troops embarking for the Boer War, and then became a military training camp during the First World War. At the outbreak of war in 1939, the redoubt was fully garrisoned and became the location of Brisbane area's Fortress Signal Camp, with a telephone line to the headquarters of Brisbane Fortress Command, which was located at the requisitioned St Lawrence's Boys College in South Brisbane. Having left camp in September, in mid-December, Signalman Poole was called up for full-time duty and returned to Lytton, becoming part of the 1st Cavalry Brigade Signals. In June the following year, a radar station was formed at Lytton Camp. The fixed radar station was one of the first 18 radar installations established in Australia. Development of the site continued, and by the end of the year, construction would include a host of buildings, an electrical generator shed, and a central parade ground. This was the camp occupied by the Australian Army Engineers, who dug underground bunkers and tunnels around Signal Hill as part of their training, and signallers such as Poole. Having transferred to the 1st Motor Division Signals, Poole was involved in plenty of travel around the area. On the 7th of August, he and another soldier, Gordon Chamberlain, were riding motorcycles on the Wombai side of the Caloundra turnoff on the Bruce Highway. After crossing a number of potholes, Chamberlain had heard a thud and saw Poole lying on the road unconscious. He took Poole to the shade of a tree and went for help. Poole was taken to hospital, and it was discovered that the base of his skull had been fractured. He had suffered bruising to the brain and extensive hemorrhaging and died the following day. He was 30 years old. A funeral was conducted on the 10th of August, and Poole's remains were laid to rest at Toowong Cemetery in Brisbane. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my left, among almost 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. A photograph of his headstone is displayed today at the Pool of Reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Signalman Archer David Poole, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We'll leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub of Gallipoli with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain has thought in his last moments, well, it's over, but in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support of the Memorials Development Project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening. Thank you.